Should be
All
good.
right, let's go. Okay. Good morning, everybody. It is August 27th at 10:05 a.m., and this is What's Good Denver, a weekly celebration of culture and discovery and fun stuff to do in Denver for kids, couples, singles, and old timers. I'm Ryan Estes with Tom Solo Dolo Toto Donahue, and the
Yo.
illustrious Troy Higgins is off. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Been a good week so far. Productive week. I think the weekend went well enough to get some rest in and ready to go this week. So I'm feeling all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It seems like we're entering into the most glorious phase of Denver weather, which is kind of that autumnal 80-degree days. I mean, it has been absolutely lovely the last couple of weeks, which is good because it's been such a scorcher. So, I don't want to speak too soon, and maybe I should knock on wood, but it seems like we kind of got through the fire season pretty well in Colorado. A couple of weeks with the smoke blowing in from Pacific Northwest and California stuff, but otherwise, I guess we have fire season now, and it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, there was one big one. I think that those rains the last couple weeks helped put those out though, and I think we're looking pretty nice. Looking right now, I mean, I got a pretty good gauge on how clear of a day it is when I look out back here, and it's looking like it's going to be a pretty clear one today. If I could see the airport, that's good. If I could see Pikes Peak, that's prime. I can't tell if I could see Pikes Peak just yet. I think we got a little morning fog, but yeah, definitely not the smoke. And you'd know if it was smoke out there.
Totally. There's kind of a legend of Denver that the Cheyenne recommended that the prospectors that were building our area that later became Denver, they're like, dude, don't build there, right at the confluence of Cherry Creek and the Platte. They're like, all the smoke goes down right there. That's like everything from the Front Range kind of coagulates right there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, whatever, it's fine.
No, it's
So
fine. It's fine.
a few times a year, Denver has the worst air quality in the entire planet. I mean, when you get those warnings, you're like, oh, dang.
Yeah,
But,
it's
but
scary.
yeah,
And I've been
yeah,
outside just doing a walk during that, and you don't want to be out there. You got to stay indoors.
I know. You still see those animals out there running too. I'm just like, all right,
Or
that's
whatever.
that's a different kind of cardio. They like to, set themselves back. It's like wearing a weighted vest when you're running. You
Mm-hmm.
just have like it smells like barbecue and campfire outside. You're like, yeah, screw it, I'm going for a jog.
Yeah, it's worse than a weighted vest. It's much worse.
Big
Dang.
time. You keep those lungs in check.
Seriously.
Nice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's feature is best camping spot near Denver. We'll go over a couple of spots that might be good for you. To follow the show, go to kitcaster.com/Denver and subscribe on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Our music is by Troy Higgins, and our sponsor today is Kitcaster. Are you a funded startup founder? Are you an entrepreneur with exit or a C-suite executive? Are you looking to just kind of put your brand on your back and market from the front? Are you looking to amplify your personal brand? Well, Kitcaster says that doing podcast interviews is probably the bedrock of that marketing base. So if you want to go on the world's top podcast based on kind of what you're looking for your business, Kitcaster has you. Kitcaster has a team of campaign managers that'll essentially book you on your favorite podcast for your industry. They're looking for, crowd size. They're looking for relevance to your industry, and they're looking for a high quality show to book you on podcast interviews. And the best part about it is going on podcasts is fun. And Tom and I know well because this is the highlight of my week. I love going on podcasts and hanging out, talking. It's probably one of the last free mediums, which is to say, if you're going on LinkedIn, you're gonna write out your post. You're gonna do a blog post. You're gonna do a video. All these things require a lot of thought and editing, which is great, but ultimately just kind of speaking off the cuff and having kind of a more casual atmosphere, sometimes that spawns your best ideas. And Kitcaster knows it well because they've worked with over 800 different clients, different founders, and booked them on just thousands of the world's best podcasts. So if you're interested in that service, go to kitcaster.com/apply now and see if it'd be a right choice for you. All right, Tom, let's jump into events. What do you got on tap this week?
That kickcaster had got me hyped up. That reminded me of a couple stats that I was looking for kickcaster that I gotta write down. So thanks for that.
Nice.
Um, I got a couple concert events this week, couple cool things going on. So I'll start off with number one, which is going to be Rez at Mission Ballroom. Rez Bass Mommy coming through town.
Nice.
She's Friday at Red Rocks this week, but Saturday she's got the Mission Ballroom. So back to back, Red Rocks Mission Ballroom. They're letting the big people do that these days. Sometimes they have those radius clauses built in, but I'm pretty sure if you sell out your Red Rock show, then you could go and book the Mission show. But
That's cool.
yeah, I think you got to sell out pretty firm to be able to
Yeah.
do something like that. But she has no problem doing it. Then this is something that I think they do every year, but it's the Fish Dicks going on this weekend, which is Fish at the Dick Sporting Goods Park. That's Thursday through Sunday, 4 nights of Fish Dicks. Um, so
You gay fish?
yeah, Kanye is excited for that. Um, no, but I know
Yeah.
all the fish heads they love when this happens. So fish
Yeah.
sticks at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. It's
One thing about we've been talking about wooks and wook culture. You ever seen the that wook documentary?
no, I don't think so.
It's pretty good, man. And it's at Fish Tour, basically in the parking lot, and they're just interviewing the people that are sucking on the nitrous balloons and stuff, old hippies, just people kind of like that travel around and like this is their whole lifestyle. This one guy like sells little crystals this big for $10 and
Mm-hmm.
it's actually a surprisingly like tender and cool documentary. I guess I don't know why it's surprising, but like, I definitely have friends that like are into that whole culture and like the whole parking lot, being barefoot in a dirty parking lot and like doing drugs with your friends. It's like their whole lifestyle.
Oh yeah, you got the fish, the Grateful Dead squad. It's pretty common for those types of jam bands that are doing that. But hey, as long as you're staying peaceful, not bothering anyone, and you know doing your thing, I guess it's okay with me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it seems like fun. It's fun too because the documentary is really trying to get to like the philosophy of it, like what's underneath the surface a little bit. And if you poke it with a stick, there's not a lot there. It's kind of just like kind of what you said. Hey, man, I'm just having a good time, and they'll talk a little bit about uh, astrology. They might talk a little bit of some lyrics from a Bob Marley song. It just kind of coagulates into like, yeah, man, I just kind of don't want to go too deep in this life. I just kind of want to hang out and feel good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a case for hedonism. I mean, they don't make the case philosophically very well, but their smiles, they're
Mm-hmm.
smiling, enjoying themselves. You know,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
it's
The
good. You got to have the soundtrack though.
peaceful wooks and hippies that take care of themselves and don't cause any problems. Sure, go ahead, keep on doing. I don't know how some of them bankroll their lifestyles, but hey, if if you got some family money, then that's fine. But yeah, the other not so peaceful ones that don't really take care of their stuff too much, that's the ones that sometimes cause problems.
Yeah, they create the ire of the small towns that they're coming into. I mean, obviously Denver's giant. We can handle anybody that anybody throws at us, but these festivals, I know that there's usually kind of a little bit of uh, a mixed emotion because on one hand they're going to buy all the snacks in every single shop and sell out all the restaurants.
Hmm.
But on the other side, I think you're right. There's a small minority of folks that maybe give everybody a bad name.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, Well, then on that note, moving on, I got the Naloxone Project Overdose Awareness Day. That is going to be at the Space Annex on August 31st, which is Saturday. Um, it's essentially just an overdose awareness event where they're going to be having naloxone distributions. They're trying to one come together to mourn and honor those who have been lost to overdose without stigma, and also educate and provide those resources for people who might want to hold naloxone on them and know how to use it and things like that. So I always think that those types of events are really valuable for people, especially with what's going on right now with fentanyl and overdosing and everything like that. So this is a place where you can go and in a safe space learn how to use that stuff. You can get supplied with the things you need to help somebody in that type of situation.
Yeah, the naloxone is Narcan, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah. That's just the science name for it, I guess. But that's what it says on the packaging. Or no. Narcan's the brand name. Naloxone's the
Is the
generic.
it's the actual drug? Yeah,
Yeah, but it's all the brand Narcan. Um,
yeah,
so that is on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. At Space Annex, which is on South Cherokee Street in Denver.
yeah. That's that's important, because kids are out here doing their thing, and you want them to be safe. It's just the stakes are so high. You
Yeah,
know, I
it,
mean,
this
Heidi's had to rescue a guy on 16th Street Mall that was ODing,
yeah,
narcon doses. Crazy.
yeah. I've had to get somebody too. So, I mean, that's really all the difference is if somebody close enough has one of those little nasal sprays, and that's what saves somebody. And there's really nothing else that will save them besides that. So, it's good to
Yeah, I
know about.
watch
It's good to have.
for sure, and it is a nasal spray. I watched Pulp Fiction again this weekend, which,
Hmm.
man, that movie is so good. It holds up, man. It's so good. But dude, that scene with Lance when Uma Thurman is like ODing, it is so intense. Like the injection of like the needle into her heart,
Yeah, that's just adrenaline,
adrenaline
adrenaline to the
shot to
heart.
the heart.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it's but that scene is like so hilarious because it starts and Lance is just chilling in his house eating a bowl of cereal, like watching like old time reruns.
yeah,
And the phone rings, he kind of looks at it like, I don't want to answer that. And then he gets it, and Vincent's just like, Lance, I'm coming over. He's like, oh, do not come here. It's so funny. It's so horrific. I love that movie.
hmm yeah. That's a classic. But yeah, I think we've graduated from adrenaline shots to the heart, and now we just got tiny little nasal spray packs.
Yeah. And it's funny too. I mean, it like in movies, there used to be a rule that if somebody was like, I don't know, sinning for lack of a better word, you could do that in a movie. Like if like
Hmm.
a man was like philandering on his wife, or he was gambling and cheating or something, like you could do that, but they couldn't get away with it. Like there had to be justice at the end.
Oh,
So, like in those old 30s and 40s movies, crazy stuff would happen. But if somebody did something wild, they're going to pay the price. They're either getting jail, they're getting shot, something like that. Like there
hmm,
had to be kind of a moral implied in the movie. And then, of course, through the 70s, you got away from that. So by the time you get to the 90s with Tarantino, he's such a movie fan that he kind of plays with those notions with all his movies. That
yeah,
like there are good guys and bad guys, and like you could say that in one hand, you know Pulp Fiction kind of glorifies drug use. It makes it look so cool and ritualized and like all that, but boy, is that like a not a glorification of drugs. That is about as gnarly of a drug scene as ever been made, man.
yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
that's the lesson there. If you want to do this, this is how you're gonna end up. The needle out the chest.
Oh.
It's crazy. And then last thing, we got Red Rocks this week. Tonight and tomorrow, Karangbin. They're a popular group, kind of rock band, psychedelic rock band. I haven't actually seen them live, but apparently it's a really good production that they put on there.
Cool.
Troy just saw them a couple weeks ago. He was talking about it last week.
Yeah, he's into them. That's one of his bands.
Thursday, Lamb of God and Mastodon.
Nice.
And then Friday, Res Rocks number 6. 6 years of selling out Res for Res. Or sorry, Red
Nice.
Rocks for Res. And then Saturday, Dirks Bentley, Gravel and Gold, presented by Jersey Mike's. Wow,
Nice.
you really got a sponsor for your tour there. That's pretty. I don't know how often I've seen that. Sponsored
What's
by
the benefit of
Jersey
that? Like,
Mike's.
what is Dirks Bentley doing? I guess he gets a check from Jersey Mike.
I'm sure that there's no other way. I don't see how they could. I mean, maybe they're going to be serving Jersey Mike's at the concert too. I assume that that must be part of the deal. But
That'd be awesome.
if you're just going around and Jersey Mike's wants their logo on your tour flyers, then I guess that's all it is.
Nice. Well, and Dirks Bentley is kind of a hustler, right? He's got that bar in town. So
Yeah,
maybe he owns a stake in that. And he's just like, let's go out there and sell some sandwiches. What's up?
yeah, maybe he's a Jersey Mike's investor. Who knows? But he's got the Dirk Bentley Whiskey Row down on what is it? Might be Market Street.
Yeah, that's a fun bar.
Yeah, I was down across the street from that the other day. It's actually my highlight. I'll talk about later. But Sunday and Monday, Gregory Allen Isakov, Gregory Allen Isakov, and Passenger. So I don't know what they're all about, but they got 2 nights at Red Rocks. It must be something.
Yeah, Gregory Alan Isakov is he's a folk guy, and he's a Denver native. He's a native son of Denver. He's been doing it probably, I'd say probably close 15, 20 years now, but he's an amazing songwriter and a great finger picker for sure.
Cool. Yeah, it looks like with his logo here, looks pretty Denver focused. He's got for this show, he's got the Red Rocks and a nice little fox
Little
wading
fox.
through the vegetation. So seems like a folk guy.
Yeah, he's great.
But that's it for me.
Nice, man. Solid.
What do you got?
Solid Red Rocks, little bass. I like to see some metal in there. Mastodon and Lamb of God. That's gonna be hardcore. I love it.
Yeah, they don't provide for the metalheads too much, so I'm sure that the one metal show per year probably gets packed out.
Totally. Nice.
Hell
Okay,
yeah.
I got a couple of things. Let's see. We've got 60 Minutes in Space, which is Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. So, exploring breaking space news with Dr. Kachun Yu, assistant curator of space science, and get the latest updates and missions exploring the solar system, rocket launches, cutting edge astronomy, and more. This looks awesome. And I was just particularly attracted to this because, there's like a couple people stranded on the International Space Station. You heard about that?
Yeah, they are stuck up there, and
Dude.
it's not the worst place in space to be stuck. At least they're stuck in a place that is ready to accommodate them for the next 8 months. But yeah, it's going to be 8 months until they're able to get rescued, it seems.
Dude, I mean, and they seem pretty chill about it. At least that's what they're letting on. They're like, dude, we don't want to come back. It's cool. We'll be up here for 8 months. But
Yeah.
man, I don't know. That's a long time. Uh, Elon's going to have to go save them.
Yeah, I think they were supposed to be up there for like 8 days or something. Um,
Oh,
Definitely not a long time. They're supposed to be up there, but yeah, they're gonna have Elon come up, and everyone's also freaking out because it was a Boeing spacecraft that is the reason that they're stuck.
yeah, man. Dude, Boeing just keeps taking it on the chin.
Yeah,
Their brand is suffering.
they're taking hits, but everyone's
Yeah.
still hopping on those United flights and whatever other airline it is. So, I mean, no one's actually changing their travel plans to not hop on a Boeing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the other reason I thought this was a cool event is because just the stress and pressure right now seems to be like really kind of high. You know, it's like
Hmm.
election season and we've got back to school stuff. We're coming into holiday season. Just the general temperature of everyone I'm checking in with is like a little bit, a little pressure.
Hmm.
But I've always been attracted to space since I was a kid. I that's what I was really into. And there's like Star Trek, the Next Generation is just I was just totally obsessed with that. And there's just something wonderful about like gazing into the stars and like realizing how small you are, and just like, oh man, in relative to space and time, we're all just babies, you know. We're just
Yeah.
out here like checking in on what's going on in the solar system. you know, there's a for me, it's like it's there's like a calmingness to it, and a centeringness. I
No,
figure, a
definitely.
free event on a Wednesday night, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There is that calm aspect to outer space and the cosmos that is definitely relaxing in a way. But it makes me wonder, like, does it actually take is it really taking that long for them to be able to rescue them, or is it because there's not really too much urgency to the whole situation? Like, what if they needed to get them back within like 1 month? They could probably do it, right? I mean, Elon's launching a spaceship like every other day.
Yeah. I don't know. I think so. It does seem like a long time to let him simmer up there.
Yeah, 8 months is what
Dude,
they're saying now. It's
I
like,
don't know.
is that just because, other stuff's taking priority and they're actually safe at the space station, so there's no urgency to like get them right now? But like with the Apollo mission, they were acting quick. They had all the
Yeah,
everybody working to figure out how to get them back, friggin' learn how to slingshot them around the moon to get them back.
I know. Such a cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to think like if there was like a real like, there's only enough oxygen for 1 month, like then all these agencies come together. That would be a dramatic rescue. It'd be cool.
Yeah. I
I
feel like
don't know.
we could get them back faster. And it's the space station. It's our one friggin', you know, bus stop in space that we've like gone back and forth to a million times successfully. So how can they
Yeah.
how is it this tough to get them back? I'm not sure. But
How long do you think you could last on the space station?
I could do a stint. I could do a stint. I think they typically do like 4 months or 6 months or something. I don't
You
think
think
they
you do
stay
four
there.
months?
I
Oh,
I don't know. It would probably suck, and I'm not smart enough to conduct any like meaningful experiments up there. So like, I'd just be chilling and like watching stuff and working on some self development. I'm sure some meditation, weightless meditation, is pretty mind changing. So,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'd probably get really bored. Do they have good internet up there? I mean, the satellites are close, so
That's right. They got Skylink.
they
when
they
when
must they must have good internet.
he's just doing FaceTime. The first couple of times you check in with Tom, he's at the space station. He's like intense about his work, and then about 3 weeks into it, he's just FaceTiming you like, what's up? What are you doing?"
Yo, I see you down there.
Bro, I'm going over to your house right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't,
exactly.
man. I think I would rather be in jail. I always like I got a real problem with heights, and I've talked about that. But I don't know if like the heights thing would be kicking in. Like, are you so high that no longer it's registers as like you're up high, or because in planes I'm pretty chill, I don't like look out the window and freak out. If it was a building or something,
Well, there's
I
not gravity, so like, what are you afraid of when you're there? Like, when you're there, you can't fall, so you might as well just deal with it until you have to come back down. That's when
oh
it
man,
would be
that
scary.
is weird.
That's the scary
There,
part.
yeah, you can't fall.
Yeah.
It's just like,
So how are you going to be afraid of heights? You can't fall.
oh man, I think I might be afraid of space more than heights. I don't know. Now I'm starting to feel gross in my stomach thinking about this.
Yeah.
I don't,
It's definitely nauseating when you have to learn how to um keep your food down when it doesn't actually stay down due to gravity.
Yeah, you gotta like massage it, like
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe a like week trip would be a good starter. They're going to be doing space flights soon where you can get, flown up to some zero gravity, come back
yeah.
down all in the same day or however long they want it to be. They're going to do a civilian trip to the moon too.
Wow.
My
Yeah.
a friend of mine is a alternate for that, the first civilian space flight to the moon.
Wow. Well, and how do they pick people? Are they looking for, obviously you got to have a check. You got to probably be a pretty nice physical specimen. I mean, are there multiple qualifications?
My friend who's the alternate, she's an Olympic gold medalist for snowboarding. So they're not just picking anybody. Like it's I'm pretty sure it's this billionaire philanthropist guy who chose the team. Um let, let me find it real quick. I know Steve Aoki is on it. He's
Well,
he's
that makes sense.
he's a
So
definite.
Steve Aoki's gonna throw a cake in space.
And they're not gonna land on the moon. They're just gonna go around the moon and come back.
Dude. Yeah. What? So there, it looks like the attributes. Obviously, one, if you're Olympic snowboarder, then she's in incredible physical shape, but she's also very risk tolerant. They're probably looking for people that can like handle like high pressure, close quarters,
Oh, it was
rocket
actually
ships.
it was supposed to happen in 2023. Okay. Unfortunately, launch within 2023 became unfeasible, and without clear schedule certainty in the near term, it is with a heavy heart that Maizawa made the unavoidable decision to cancel the project. Dang. Okay, they're not going.
Bummer.
But it was gonna be. So the crew members were Yusaka Maizawa, which is the guy who's funding the whole thing, Steve Aoki, um, Top, which looks like it's some sort of K-pop type of guy, Yemi AD, Rhiannon Adam, Tim Dodd, Kareem Ilea, Brendan Hall. I think that's another athlete. My friend here, Caitlin Farrington, she's on the backup crew. And then also Miyu on the backup crew. So I think it was really just like athletes, influencers, artists, like notable people. It says artists and athletes specifically, but canceled. Yeah,
Canceled. Have to wait till next time.
yeah. Till next time, a billionaire wants to take 10 cool people to the moon.
Snowboarders and DJs. Perfect.
Well, I know that one thing that happened though was the it was going to be a SpaceX vehicle that took them, SpaceX ship that took them, and they had them all there to watch the very first test flight of that ship, and it like blew up in like 30 seconds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're all there watching, like, all right, this is the one we're going to be on, and it just blows up right in their faces. But Elon was like, yeah, no, I wanted it to blow up or something like that. He was like, no, we knew it was going to blow up.
We blew it up on purpose.
Yeah. He's like, if it doesn't blow up, it's not a good test.
Oh man, I love Elon. He's really gone full villain, but man, who's got the passion? Who's got the childhood passion to like really, really try and get to Mars? Like, dude, it's so cool.
Oh, he'll get there. They got the people picked out for that already too. They've been picked out for years.
Yeah, totally. Those guys are just waiting.
Hmm.
Is it a one-way ticket or they could never do that, right?
I think the first one is not a one-way ticket. The first trip is not a one-way ticket, but there are one-way ticket people too. There's people that are
Yeah.
gonna go there and stay there.
And like that's it. Anything happens, we understand the consequences.
Yeah.
Yikes. I mean, I think it's cool, but also, dude, I've seen the pictures of Mars. It sucks. It's just rocky.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's nothing. Well,
Yeah, I like rivers, man.
Elon said that he's sure that the first person to die on Mars is already born, without doubt.
Crazy.
And
Man,
they probably know who it is, but I don't know if they have the one-way ticket people announced yet. I know that the round trip, like the first people are announced because I've been following one of them for a while. Just like
dude, what
the whole training process and their whole, you know, planning until then. They've been prepping for that for like 4 years already.
what if they picked him like they picked the Dalai Lama? You ever seen how they picked the Dalai Lama?
No.
So what they did is like when the last Dalai Lama died, I think they give it like 4 or 5 years, and then the
Mm-hmm.
monks go travel around the countryside to find like 4 or 5 year olds to see like where the Dalai Lama reincarnated into.
Oh.
And so they do this test where they put like bifocals, a cup, and like a journal, and they do three of them, three different sets. And so they say to this little kid, "Which one is yours?" And then if you're the real Dalai Lama, they went and picked their stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, we found the new Dalai Lama." They take him to the temple and like they start his training.
Yeah.
So I'd love it if they did that with like the Mars guy. They're like, we know it's going to take about 40 years for us to be ready to go to Mars. Let's go pick the pilots.
Yeah.
Have like,
The the family's like, "Come on, little Johnny, you want these glasses, not those ones."
yeah, it's like Amelia Earhart's glasses and like some other stuff. We need to get Amelia Earhart's like reincarnated soul into the Mars pilot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
That would be awesome.
That's wild.
Nice. Shout to space. Okay, I also got Daishiki Fest. This is Saturday, August 31st at 3 p.m. It's an all day, all night event at our favorite place in Denver, the Levitt Pavilion. So the Daishiki Festival returns for its eighth edition. It celebrates African heritage with displays of African music, cultural performance, food, arts, vendors, and a fashion show. The night ends with the fashion contest where people show off unique African attire and win awards for best dressed. And Daishiki Queen of the Year. Admission is free. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I now what's great about the website too is you still probably have time to buy your daishiki if you want to compete in the fashion show, you
Interesting.
know. So I mean I think there's some there there's not a lot of like male, you know. I don't know if they're like gendered, you know what I mean? Is there like a difference between a man and woman's daishiki? It shows how little I know really about daishikis themselves,
Yeah.
but they're amazing. I mean, the ones I'm seeing, these look like more modern that they're going to be flashing here, but like the West African textiles and like the kente cloth and that stuff, boy, that is
Mm-hmm.
some of the most beautiful fabric on planet Earth.
Yeah. No, it looks really cool here on the site. Let me get some visuals up.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's just like, we go to powwows all the time, which is kind of like, I guess, North Americans' version of this. But I think for like the African community, and there's actually a large African community. I know Addis Ababa in Ethiopia is like a sister city to Denver. I don't know exactly what that means, but I know that that means they open up a certain amount of like visas and opportunities for those folks from that city to come here. And I know we have a bunch of Sudanese. So I think it looks like a really cool event. Plus the food, I mean, African foods and the lentils and the stewed meats and all that,
Hmm.
so delicious.
Yeah. No, this looks great.
Be cool. I wonder
Awesome.
if I showed up rocking my tribal attire, if I had like kilt on or something like that. If you get the nod, be like, oh, word up, word up. That's our tribe from across the pond.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that it'd be accepting for sure. It seems like a really cool event.
Okay, a couple other announcements. One, the Denver e-bike rebate lottery kicks off in 20 minutes. If you're
Ooh,
listening to this podcast on Tuesday, you probably still have time to get it in. So basically what that means, I think it's a $2,500, $3,500 e-bike credit. So a bicycle that's electrically enabled that you can basically put in and get a $2,500 check from the from Jared Polis in the state of Colorado. I think e-bikes, the prices are coming way down now. I mean, you can find like a
yeah,
really cool one with fat tires and like, a little cargo pack for like 1,800 bucks, I think is kind of one I was looking at recently.
nice.
So if people are interested in that, now I borrowed my dad's e-bike all summer. He was kind of laid up and couldn't use it, and Ozzo needed to get to practice, and it's like I got sick and tired of toting him all over town. So I was like, "Hey, bro, guess what? You got an e-bike now," which was a kind of a massive upgrade because he was just doing a normal analog bike before that.
Hmm.
So, and so now I drive that thing around all the time. It's a blast, dude. It is. E-bikes are sweet.
Those are really nice, especially around here where you got lots of different hills up and down, different gradings, and you can just fly right through those if you want to.
Yeah. And it's not like riding a bike. I don't want to say it's like riding a bike is a completely different experience. It's just more like, hey, if there's something like a mile or two around me, I use it to go up to yoga. I'll use it to go to King Soopers and get some coffee or whatever.
Hmm.
It's probably faster than using a car, and it just adds like fun. It's just, it's
Yeah,
just fun.
definitely. Yeah, but what are the qualifications for that rebate ticket? Because that sounds like a good deal.
I think all you got to do is just apply for it. And I think it's a lottery, and they pick on some date. And they went to a lottery system because they could only do so many.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, what I'll do is I'll forward the application, and we can put that in the liner notes. So if people want to sign up for it, go do it.
nice.
Um, and while we're talking about rebates and electric vehicles, I just want to give a shout out to Jared Polis. Dude, his rebate on electric cars right now is absolutely killing, to the tune that I bought two Nissan Leafs a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's the most insane deal ever. So like I get a text from a buddy who's like, dude, I just got a Nissan for 50 bucks a month with no money down. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, they got a couple hundred of them left. He's like, but essentially it's a 24-month lease, $49 a month, credit depending, and no money down. It's because what happened is Jared Polis has probably the biggest rebate in the country as far as electric vehicles. But on top of that, he made that rebate available on the note. So you're not, putting that onto your tax return and hoping to get something back. Basically, it's applied right to the balance of the note, right when you're like closing the deal.
Mm,
So essentially, so that what that means is that like Nissan came back on their prices for these 24 Leafs for some reason. I think they just had a million Leafs or leaves. Would it be a shrub of leaves?
I think so.
I don't know what you call a bunch of Nissan Leafs,
Yeah.
but so yeah, he just went in there and we got one. And then I looked at Heidi, I was like, well, and she actually was like, dude, let's get two. And so we got two of these things. So essentially it's $100 a month for two electric Leafs, and we happen to have, two, what, kid that's 15 and a kid that's 17. So like we'll get great use out of those for the next 24 months. It's like the smoking deal of the century. And to add a cherry on top, what they said is they're like, hey man, if you recommend someone to us, we'll give you a check for $100. So
Hmm.
Heidi and I just went to our phones, and to date, I think we've sold 9 of them on top of the 2 we bought because all of our friends have teenage kids.
Yeah.
We're just, hey, it's 50 bucks a month for a brand new electric car. No gas, no oil changes, you know, and they're cute little cars, man. So I just want to tip my hat to Jared Polis. This guy continues to impress me. I rarely would I get political on this, but he just seems like a very business forward, centrist kind of kind of guy, you know, which
Hmm.
which I like, you know. So I think it does take kind of an entrepreneurial spirit to like come up with a cool deal like this and push it through, you know,
Yeah.
because tax rebates, it's like, dude, well, what if you don't, your deductions don't add up and you can really take advantage of the entire rebate? I don't know. You know, just
Hmm.
applying it straight to the note is like boom. And this guy, Martin, shout out to him at Empire Nissan. He's a real sweet guy. And he's just like, Ryan, thank you so much for all the recommendations.
Nice. Hell
Yeah, I
yeah.
was like, how many have come in so far? He's like 7, and this was like a few sales ago. So as it stands, I think we might have 10. I think there's another guy on the fence that might have 10. So we might have sold 10, which means I'm gonna get $1,000 check. Now the entire note for one of these cars is $1,200. So just through commissions, I just about paid for one.
That is a crazy, crazy deal right there.
Yeah.
Two for the
So
price of one and some wrecks.
I know it's so crazy. It makes me happy, man. It's just like, wow, this is a good deal. You got to jump on this. And so if anybody wants to go see Martin at Empire Nissan, tell them Ryan sent you, and they can cut me some more checks. If I could sell enough cars that I get them both leases for free,
Yeah, you
be
guys,
one of the.
if you're not using both at the same time, you could always have one on charge, the other one out on the road, and if it's running out, you just stop home, swap out real quick,
Yeah,
keep going.
yeah. It's you get like about 160 miles, you know. So we've had them for about 2 weeks. So we've been just kind of experimenting. It's like, every 3 days you plug it in overnight. It's good to go.
Yeah, that's nothing. And it works off a normal plug too, you said, right?
Yeah, just plug it into the wall.
That's crazy.
I know, that's so weird, dude.
Right into
Oh,
the wall, charge up your car.
yeah.
Dang.
Nice. All right. Well, that's events for the week. Let's talk about highlights from last week. Tom, what was your highlight last week?
Yeah, on Sunday I went out to this event, an artist called So Down, and it was a great free event downtown. And he's a Denver guy, so he has a big support squad around here. Had a lot of local artists opening up, and they did a big back to back at the end. It was at El Patio, which is right across the street from Dirk Bentley Whiskey Row.
Oh,
And
cool.
it was cool to go there because it's not typically my normal type of place on any given weekend, but they had this whole thing rented out for this event on Sunday. So all the bass music, dance music heads were over there. And it was funny because, you know, there was a ton of people there, and we're up on the roof and loud, loud music. And um, you got people over at Dirks Bentley just watching their Sunday football games, just looking over like, what are those hippies doing over there? Those bass heads. And
Yeah.
there's some guys all dressed up in their cowboy get-ups and standing over the edge of Whiskey Row, looking over, and everyone's like waving them like, "Come over here." They're really thinking about it. They're like, "Well, it
Yeah.
seems like more fun than what we're doing over here." But no, it was a good atmosphere, good energy over there. And then after it started raining a little bit later on, but they had everyone come downstairs, which was the plan in the first place, and then kind of did a little indoor venue from 9 to 10, all over by 10 p.m., which was nice, especially since it was a Sunday. But
Wow.
the indoor part was in the spot next door called the Jaguar Room. They're connected on the inside there. No, it was good. It was a good time.
Nice, man.
Hmm.
My highlight was Carnitas Michoacan from Patsacaro's restaurant over on 32nd in the Highlands. Yeah, the best tacos I've ever had in my life, largely because I almost killed this couple right before I got these tacos. We were going to get
Wow.
tacos, Heidi and I,
Yeah.
and driving down Federal northbound right on 29th. And there was a couple on one of those like little the scooters, and she was driving and he was in the back. Dude, it's middle of rush hour traffic, and she does a 90-degree turn straight into Federal, just straight into Federal. I'm
Mm-mm.
driving an F-150, a big car, And so I swerve all the way into the other lane. Didn't have time to check if someone was over there. Just like swerved over and was like, oh my God. And then I hear this bang. And I was like, for 1 second, I was like, she was leaning over the handlebars as she was coming into Federal. And I was like, dude, I hit her right in the head. And so I look in my rear mirror and like they're both just standing in the street and the scooter had been knocked out. So basically I swerved as much as I could, but she was so far into the street that she ran into me.
That's insane.
So I pull around. I pull around and she takes off running. I'm like, dude, don't run. I got eye contact with him. I'm like, don't run, man. Don't run. So I wave him over. I'm like, you got insurance? He's like, I'm an international student. And I was like, yeah, man. It's like, all right, we exchanged numbers and he's like, how much do you think it's going to be? I was like, well, the deductible's $1,000. It's going to be, at least that. And he was all disappointed. I was like, dude, we'll work it out. Don't worry about it. But I'm really glad you're not dead, man.
Yeah, it's craziness.
So we'll figure it out with him. I'll put him on a payment plan or something. He was working at Elitch's, I was like, oh man, international student. But as a result, sat down. I was just like, whoo, I am so glad that they are not dead.
Yeah,
This is a
seriously.
delicious taco.
Yeah, that's a great taco after that.
Yeah,
Not dead tacos.
that might have been the closest I ever been to some real catastrophic. But dude, just a note on those scooters, man. Do not go too deep on those. Boy,
No.
and if you are, don't put her in the front. I mean, no disrespect, but you got to have a certain amount of like upper body strength to be able to manage two people on a electric scooter. God dang.
Yeah, no, no, no. And you gotta stay safe and not on federal. You know.
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, unbelievable, but a good outcome nonetheless. So a little bit of damn. I mean, it knocked a tiny little panel off my truck, which I'm getting an assessment for that. I did the AI assessment. They're like, it'd be $5,500. I was like, oh man, this poor kid's not going to want to hear that.
No way, that's crazy.
Yeah. So we'll figure it out. Cool, man. Let's dive into our feature and wrap this baby up. We're talking about places to go camping near Denver, and you got to assume that if people are looking for spots near Denver, a couple of things are occurring. One, they got little kids, or they're just trying to like introduce something because camping near Denver, you're going to have a couple of things. You're going to have a full camping spot. That's for sure. There's going to be a lot of people going on. There's going to be a lot of kids there because really this is kind of a way that you can do a low maintenance camp to introduce the idea of camping to somebody before you ruin it. And the parents, you really want to do this. If you're Colorado born and raised like me, and you're used to like hunting and backpacking and deep backcountry stuff, don't bring your kids into that right out of the gate. They're gonna hate it for the rest of their life. you
Hmm.
want to, you need to go something easy and have like a nice mattress and their blankie, and you got to have s'mores and you want to roast hot dogs on the fire, you got to do it the right way. And so camping near Denver, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a great car camping experience. Tom, you got any favorite spots?
Yeah, this is actually the closest I've ever gone camping to Denver, but I'm shouting out the Frisco Peninsula, and now I know we're probably getting into the hour and a half range, but I still consider that close, you know.
Agreed.
Um, Frisco Peninsula, um, this is right near the Frisco Adventure Park. So, especially if you got some action loving kids, which this would have been right up my alley when I was a little kid. Um, but you got lake access, and there's one campsite. Actually, just had it up. Hold on, let me bring it back up again.
That skate park at Frisco is awesome too.
Oh yeah, it's a good skate park. Hold on. There was one campsite in particular, the one that I stayed in, but there's a couple on the peninsula right there. The Peak One campground is a nice one. The one that I stayed in was the Pine Cove campground. Um, they're all right next to each
Yeah.
other. But you got lake access there. If you have any mountain bikers in the family or in the group, it's all mountain biking trails around the entire peninsula. You also at the adventure park, they have mountain biking jumps and everything that's free to use that you could pull into there. That's awesome. And you also got downtown Frisco right over there as well that you can pull into, get some food. You don't have to really, rough it at the campsite. If you wanted to, you could just pull right into town in less than 5 minutes and get food, shopping, whatever you want to do. So it's a very entry level spot, but really just good for some action lovers with the lake access, mountain biking, skate park. Um, Breckenridge is close. All of the Summit County spots are really close to there. It's a pretty central location, so that's my pick.
Yeah, co-sign that. Lake Dillon in general is just an awesome spot for camping. I mean, they've got like a lot of trees in their camp spots too. Some of the reservoirs can be kind of barren, which, it gets roasting hot in the summer. So
Mm-hmm.
having the trees feels awesome. Plus depending on like the where the reservoir is at as far as like depth. It seems like it's been pretty full this year in the summer. But the inlet there is a great spot to go fishing. The inlet into Lake Dillon, there usually be like a little bit of gurgly bubbles, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
are falling out the inlet. And if you drop any like a San Juan worm, like right in those bubbles, dude, you're going to be catching like little stockies all day long. It's a great spot, especially for kids.
Yeah.
You can do bait fishing there as well. So if you really just want to do a deep cast, put some power bait on there or whatever, you're almost guaranteed. I mean, they probably put millions of fish in that thing because it's just a great spot for kids to get going on some camping and fishing.
Yeah. Now there's a ton to do right there. It's pretty safe space, and I think it's like $7 a night per spot. So it's something really cheap. And it's just one of those campgrounds where you just throw the cash in an envelope, write down the spot number, whatever. It's first come, first served there. So got to keep that in mind. But, I didn't have a problem finding a spot when I went up.
Cool. All right, I've got 11 o'clock, so I'm going to rip through a list here I've got. Now, it's just a safe bet that all of the state parks near Denver are going to have great camping, great facilities, well maintained. Usually, I don't think there's been a fire ban all season. Like, one thing we're really spoiled with in Colorado is, the state parks have made it very accessible for absolutely anybody to enjoy some of these camping spots. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown of the state parks that are near Denver. So we've got Golden Gate State Park, 30 miles to Denver. Chatfield's about 25 miles away. Rocky Mountain National Park is 70 miles away. It's a little bit further, but as a state or a national park right there, of course, RMNP is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
St. Vrain is awesome. This is kind of a newer state park, but they have a bunch of good stuff going on there, about 35 miles away. Echo Lake Campground is 45 miles out. Arapahoe and Roosevelt National Forests. This is a little bit more dispersed camping, about 50 to 70 miles out. And then Cherry Creek is just down the street, which is another great spot, especially if you're into water sports and paddleboard and stuff like that. Cherry Creek is a great
Yeah,
spot.
without a doubt. Yeah, those are some easy, close spots for sure. Um, Rocky Mountain National Park, I've never actually camped there, but I've visited, and always, always good.
Yeah, great spot, even for the day. If you're not really wanting to do, you know, the camping thing, you can just drive around in your car and you're gonna see all the elks, you're gonna see all the mooses, you'll
Mm-hmm.
see all the things. Be great. All right, brother, that's
Hell
a
yeah.
wrap, man.
That's it. Good episode. We missed Troy this week, but we'll see him again next week. Shout
Yeah,
out.
shout to Troy. Hopefully, he's having a good day off, and we'll catch up next week.
Alrighty. Thanks,
All
Ryan.
right, thanks,
Thanks,
pal.
Kate Caster. See